So this video series is all about giving things up, which as a hypnotherapist is a very big part of my business. It's part of what people come to me for, giving up these things like habits. So whether you're giving something up like chocolate or junk food, whether you're giving up a person or a behavior, whether you're giving up something like biting your nails or playing with your hair or another kind of thing like that, whether you're giving up something like cigarettes or alcohol that you've tried over and over again and are now coming to the point where you're thinking, maybe I need a little bit of help with this. Whatever you're trying to give up, and for whatever reason, I'm hoping that this video series will help you to do just this. And it's a bit stormy out there today because we're right at the beginning of January. So if you can hear some noise in the background, just try and ignore it a little bit as we talk. And now that I've mentioned that it's the beginning of January, for New Year resolutions, that 1st of January is the time when lots of people make the decision to give something up, to be better, to do something differently for the new year. But you can choose to give something up at any point within your year, at any point within your life. And actually for a lot of people, it's less about making a choice to give something up. And it may be that due to health reasons or other reasons, it's come to a point where you need to give this thing up for lots of other reasons, and it may be that it's seriously starting to have a real effect on your health or your life. So it can be anything from something that seems kind of, throwaway and easy, or something that has now become a real thing that needs dealing with right now. But when it comes to giving things up, it doesn't matter how little it seems to everybody else. Giving something up can be a big deal. So all change can be difficult for the brain. There are lots of reasons why this is, which I won't go into in this particular video as it's the introduction. But there are lots of different reasons why the brain finds it hard to make changes. It can be really easy to put a habit in place and then really, really difficult to shift that habit. So you can be physically addicted to something like, for example, nicotine or alcohol or drugs, or you can be emotionally addicted to it. So you can be addicted to the way it makes your brain and your body feel in terms of what dopamine and neurotransmitter levels are working in your brain. Or it can be simply, and I say just, but I don't really mean just, simply just a habit, just something that your subconscious has recognized that we do now and continued to create and use the pathways in your memory to keep you doing. But all behavior and all habits tend to have a positive intent. So they will have a reason why your subconscious is doing this. And this reason may be lost very much to the past. It may be that this thing is causing you so many problems and so much difficulty in your life that you can't see why on earth your brain might be doing this. But if we look at everything as having an intent and everything starting with a reason, we can start to see this habit as having something that is giving you a benefit. And once you've established what that may be, it's much easier to then ask your brain, ask your subconscious to do something different, because you'll then be either saying to your mind, okay, but we don't need this anymore because this is our life now. Or you could be saying, I recognize the reason that you were doing this, and now I would like to replace it with this. So understanding really goes a long way to then trying to then give up that thing. So I don't know if you're finding this right at the beginning of your journey, whether you're just starting to think about giving up and giving things up, or whether you're now sort of on your however manyth attempt and really at your wit's end. So it doesn't matter which. I'm going to offer you some steps that you can work through. So this will be 6 videos coming up with different steps, and these are the steps. So the first is uncover, which is looking specifically at what's happening now, looking at the situation and looking at the whys and the hows and what's really going on right now. And the second is embrace. And this may seem a weird thing to do when you're looking to give something up, but by welcoming this part of us, by understanding, by loving, and by looking at what it's given us over the years, over the time, really understanding and embracing the role that it plays means that we can approach it with enough love to be able then to let it free, to release it. So the embrace stage is really, really important. And then we have reshape, which is basically us looking at what we can do instead. What do we want to see instead? What do we want to do? So we've looked at why, we've looked at loving it, we've looked at now. What do we want the future to look like? What do we want it to be? And this can be a difficult stage as well, because it's looking at what do I actually want? What am I really putting together here? And this is the bit that sometimes we forget, or sometimes we do too early, really looking at what we want realistically our life to look like, not just in the short term, but long term. And then we transform. This is the point where we make that step. So if you're doing this on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, you may get to 4 weeks in before you actively choose to give up. And that's absolutely fine. Remember, you're doing this for the rest of your life. There's no rush. There's no reason to rush the process. So if it takes 4 months or 4 weeks, then that's absolutely okay. You can choose to do it over 4 days instead and do the whole thing in a week if you wish. It's entirely up to you. But transform is the point where we go, yep, we are changing for good. And then step 5 is to grieve. And so many people forget this step. This habit may have been with you for a really long time. The thing that you're giving up had a real purpose in your life. Things will change. And with every change, it's really important to allow the brain to grieve that change. And this is what we do at step 5. We really look at what we've lost in this change. And step 6 is absolutely enjoying where you are now, enjoying the effort and the work it took to get there, and enjoying the fact that you've come to this point, really reveling in it, really being proud of yourself and proud of your work, and really enjoying your new self.